Welcome back everyone to episode 6 of my Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes playthrough. In between episodes I did find out what exactly we have to do in order to short circuit the pattern that you normally have to follow of going all the way back to the blast furnace to heat up the key and all the way down to the basement where you have to freeze the key, which will make this section much easier. I don't think this will affect the story. I think the majority of the story beats will happen after we get both of the 2 remaining keys locked in. But we're going to do this anyway just to save a little bit of time right on the outset, because we're pretty close to the end of the game at this point. The detonation code of the new type of nuclear warhead has already been entered. Snake tries to use the detonation code emergency override key to prevent the launch. The key is made of shape memory alloy and changes into 3 shapes according to temperature, and also into letters, I guess, with each shape matching the corresponding terminal in the control room. Snake enters the first PAL code with the key at room temperature. In order to get the second PAL code, Snake must make the key change to the cold temperature shape. I think I just said temperature even though I was busting on Otacon for that. Snake must find a place to cool the key. Alright.
Snake's Journal, Part 5. That traitorous weasel Otacon has been holding out on me. He said there were actually 5 of the stealth camo units made. I asked him where the other 4 were, and he said the soldiers in the elevator with me had them. Unfortunately, my natural talent for mass destruction kicked in, and I destroyed all 4 units while defending myself. Just give me your f***ing stealth camo, Otacon. No one is trying to shoot you. On my way into the snowfield behind the communication towers, I was ambushed by Sniper Wolf. She questioned my manhood for allowing Meryl to be captured, so I did the manliest thing I could think of. I blew both her legs off with a Nikita missile. Looks like I got the leg up on Wolf, although she certainly stood her ground. Maybe I didn't put my best foot forward during our first meeting, but this could be just the kick I need to get the jump on Liquid.
Snake, Wolf is already dead. You can stop mocking her now.
Colonel, she shot Meryl multiple times.
Good point. Carry on then.
No, the moment's lost. You ruined it. Otacon came to Wolf in her final moments and wept at her passing. Never one to pass up the opportunity to look like a tough, cool badass, I put my dirty hanky over her face, said them all cried out, and walked off into darkness. Truth is, I had blown my nose with it a couple of times in the last 2 hours, so it was spent. We're in Alaska. Naomi didn't give me a shot to prevent buggers. Master Miller called me on the way to the sub-basement beneath the Metal Gear hangar and revealed that Naomi may be a spy. That's impossible. She showed no remorse to the deaths of Anderson and Baker, said I was emotionally stunted and consumed with bloodlust, and oh yeah, I tried to kill her stepbrother, Gray Fox. There's no way she's a spy. I'm kidding. Of course she's the f***ing spy. Vulcan Raven was waiting for me in the sub-basement. I think he challenged me to an ear-pulling contest, but his birds were making a ton of noise and I couldn't really hear him. So I just waited 45 seconds and yelled.
What?
Vulcan accused me of recycling my jokes and shot me. Hey, you gotta play the hits. What unfolded between us was combat in its raw essence. 2 powerful warriors, trading blows on equal footing. A contest of physical, mental, and spiritual purity unseen in a millennia, free of ideologies and personal malice. Or I just put down 15 claymores and ran like a coward. Raven had a minigun, and I had a little pea shooter. I'm not stupid. Badly wounded, Raven gave me the final keycard to the Metal Gear hangar. He wanted to help me because Liquid had said some hurtful things to him and was being a total douchebag. Sounds on brand to me. I asked if he just wanted to switch sides then, and offered to patch him up. Raven thought about it for a second. Before I could answer, a lithe Asian man appeared from behind a crate and shot Raven dead. Then he told me to stop trying to rewrite the script, activated his own stealth camo, and ran off. Damn it, why does everyone have a stealth camo unit but me? Even Mantis was sporting one. I finally made it into the hangar where the Metal Gear was being stored. There it stood, tall and imposing. A monolith to scientific advancement, and a hubristic harbinger to mankind's downfall. And they built it to look like a f***ing duck. Look at those feet! They even gave this stupid thing a bill. I bet I could distract it with a few pieces of moldy bread. I called Otacon to ask if he had any idea how the PAL keys work. He hacked into Baker's computer and found that the key shape was affected by extreme temperatures. I corrected him and said it was pronounced temperature. Otacon typed something, my legs went numb, and I shit myself and collapsed on the ground. Why did I let Naomi inject me with those damn nanomachines? Liquid and Ocelot were in the control room just above the Metal Gear. Liquid is monologuing again. Jesus, this guy loves the sound of his own voice. He said he wants to dig in and turn this base into outer heaven. the independent military nation the Big Boss originally envisioned. We're on a frozen island in the middle of the Pacific, and there are 0 kitchens on this base. I give them about a week before Outer Heaven becomes the Donner Party. Before I could sneak into the control room and use the PAL system to deactivate Metal Gear, Ocelot used his arm stump to draw his gun and shoot the PAL card out of my hand. Damn, that was cool. I spent the next 30 minutes searching the drainage ditch and found Bupkis. Finally, Master Miller called and said a rat probably ate it. That's ridiculous. The PAL card was made of an inorganic metallic compound and covered in bitterant. There's no way that a rodent would have eaten— oh shit, a rat has it in his mouth. I finally have the key card, and Liquid has disappeared from the control room, which is totally not suspicious. I'm all set. Time to shut down a nuclear duck robot.
So, what you are normally meant to do is take this key all the way back to the very bottom of the area where you fought Vulcan Raven, because that is an area, I think, as Master Miller said, was below the level of the permafrost layer in Alaska. So it's a very, very, very cold room, and you can go in there for a couple of minutes to freeze the key and make it the correct temperature. However, there is a place you can go real close that'll make it much, much easier. I was looking for the secret room. It turns out it is right here. You gotta sneak over to the right just a bit, and you can see it right there below me, as well as 2 pipes that are right there in view. We're gonna drop and grab, get up, and if you look at the pipes, one says steam, and the other one says liquid nitrogen. So, we have to cool the key, take out your handgun, and hopefully I don't miss the shot here. And there we go. Key's cooled. Ow! I hurt my ankles. I didn't grab the wire like I was supposed to. It's alright. We got what we needed. Now we just need to get to the top and input the second code. Thankfully, the key does take a very long time to warm up after you cool it down. So you should not have to worry about it going back to the room temperature color or shape. Alright, second code.
Okay, there goes PAL code number 2. Next comes PAL number 3. Warm the key.
If there was one thing I think this game did not get right, then why do you need 3 separate laptops for this? Are you telling me they cannot change what the code input should be for one laptop every time you enter a key? That's just goofy. Or that the screen color could not have changed to indicate which one you were supposed to have after you enter one code. Sloppy work, Kojima. You should just give up. This is, of course, coming 2 days after the Game Awards 2023, when he announced his horror game that's going to be coming out on the Xbox called OD. Got it. And let's go ahead and put on the key for this, and warm the key. There we go. Ow! Stop hitting me in the face. Alright, remember to grab? No. Grab the thing. There we go. Uh-oh. Another call.
Snake, it's about Naomi Hunter.
Come on, man.
You should talk to the Colonel. He's looking into it.
Turn your monitor off.
Okay, it's off. No one else can hear us. Go ahead.
Sorry, but I didn't want the Colonel to hear.
Okay, so what's up?
I've got a good friend in the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Naturally.
He's the one who told me about it. It looks like the DIA recently developed a new type of assassination weapon.
An assassination weapon?
Snake, have you ever heard of something called fox dye?
No.
What? Fox dye?
Liquid and the others were talking about it.
Yeah. It's some kind of virus that targets specific people. I don't know all the details, but
What are you trying to say?
it's too similar.
What is?
The cause of death. Didn't the Arms Tech president and the DARPA chief, Decoy Octopus, die of something that looked like a heart attack?
Yeah?
Well, apparently Fox Die kills its victims by simulating a heart attack.
Uh-oh.
No. You're telling me that Naomi was behind it?
Snake, try to remember. Did Naomi give you some kind of injection?
Son of a bitch.
She was in the best position to have done it, but I don't know what her motive was.
Does the Colonel know?
I'm not sure, but he still hasn't questioned her.
Okay. I'll ask him myself. Colonel, what's new with the Naomi situation?
I just placed Naomi under arrest.
Arrest?
She was sending coded messages toward the Alaskan base. I didn't want to believe it, but she must be working with the terrorists.
Are you sure?
I'm afraid so. She's being interrogated now.
What kind of interrogation?
I punched her in the stomach a bunch of
I'd like to
times.
avoid the rough stuff, but we don't even have any sodium pentothal here.
Call me if you find out anything.
So, it's true, isn't it?
Naomi, I can't believe it.
That means the Fox Die vaccine must be around somewhere.
Is that all you think about?
But Snake, you might be infected too, you know.
All I can do is leave it up to the Colonel.
I think it's pretty much a certainty he's infected with it. If Naomi injected it with something that would cause people to get sick with Fox Die, it probably means he's carrying the virus himself. I was gonna go... Ow! Get out of the water. Get out of the water, dummy. I was going to get in the water and grab the ration that's out there, but maybe we shouldn't bother. I think there might be some up here that got replaced when we reloaded this particular session, so also don't want to cool the card off and have to go reheat it up again. See if we can find it out here somewhere. Health? No health. It's alright, if we can't do it, we can't do it. But I think we're about to come up on the next big encounter. Uh-oh.
Snake, can you hear me?
Hey, you're not supposed to be talking.
Naomi, what the hell?
Campbell and the others are busy right now. I'm on a different codec.
Naomi, is what the Colonel
Again.
says true?
How does the codec
Not
work?
everything I said was a lie.
Who are you?
I don't know anything. My parents' face is my name. The name and ID I have now I just bought. But the reason why I study genetics, that was true.
Because you want to know yourself, right?
That's right. I want to know where I came from. My age, my race, anything.
Naomi.
I was found in Rhodesia sometime in the 80s. A dirty little orphan.
Rhodesia. What's now known as Zimbabwe?
Yes, can't you tell by her thick Rhodesian accent?
England until 1965, and there were lots of Indian laborers around. That's probably where I got my skin color from, but I'm not even sure about that.
Naomi, you're too worried about
That character model, even though it's slightly green, about as white as it can get.
Understand who I am now? Why should I? No one else tries to understand me. I was alone for so long, until I met my big brother. And him.
Your big brother?
Yes. Frank Yeager.
Oh.
He was a young soldier when he picked me up near the Zambezi River. I was half dead from starvation, and he shared his rations with me. Yes. Frank Yeager. The man who you destroyed was my brother and my only family.
I think we just found a motive.
Gray Fox.
We survived that hell together, Frank and I. He protected me. He is everything to me. The only proof I have of my existence. Of my existence as an individual.
And he brought you back to America?
No. I was in Mozambique when he came.
Who's he? You mean Big Boss?
Yes. He brought us to this land of freedom. This America. But then he and my brother went back to continue the war. And that's when it happened. You killed my benefactor and sent my brother home a cripple. I vowed revenge and joined Foxhound. I knew it was my best chance to meet you, and I prayed for the day that I would.
So, were your prayers answered?
Yes. I waited 2 long years.
To kill me? Is that all you cared about?
Yes, that's right. 2 years. You were all I thought about for 2 long years. Like some kind of twisted obsession.
Do you still hate me?
Not exactly. I was partly wrong about you.
What about Liquid and the others?
I'll have my revenge on them too.
Naomi, you didn't kill that doctor too, did you? The one that used Gray Fox for his genome experiments.
Dr. Clark? No. That was my brother. Afterward, I covered it up and helped him hide out.
So that ninja, I mean Gray Fox, he's come here to kill me.
I don't think so. I think he just came here to fight you. I wasn't sure before, but now I think I understand.
He really likes fighting.
Final battle with you. That's all he lives for. I'm sure of it.
Fox. Naomi, tell me something.
About Foxdie? Foxdie is a type of retrovirus that targets and kills only specific people. First, it infects the macrophages in the victim's body. Foxdie contains smart enzymes, created through protein engineering. They're programmed to respond to specific genetic patterns in the cells.
Those enzymes recognize the target's DNA?
Right. They respond by becoming active and using the macrophages. They begin creating TNF-epsilon.
Huh?
It's a type of cytokine, a peptide which causes cells to die. The TNF-epsilon is carried along the bloodstream to the heart, where they attach to the TNF receptors in the heart cells.
And then, they cause a heart attack.
The heart cells suffer a shock and undergo an extreme apoptosis. Then, the victim dies.
Apoptosis? You mean the heart cells commit suicide? Naomi,
What?
you must have programmed that thing to kill me too, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Still have time. Naomi, I don't blame you for wanting me dead, but I can't go yet. I still have a job to do.
Listen, Snake. I'm not the one who made the decision to use Foxdie.
Huh? You weren't?
No. You were injected with Foxdie as a part of this operation. I just wanted to let you know that... No. That's not the whole truth.
Huh?
The real thing that I wanted to tell you was...
I love you.
Hey! What are you doing?
Snake.
Naomi?
Snake, I can't allow Naomi to make any more unauthorized transmissions.
What?
Naomi's been removed from this operation.
What happened to Naomi? What did she mean when she said that Foxdie was a part of this operation? Colonel, let me talk to her.
I won't. She's under arrest.
Colonel, you double-crossed me.
Snake, there's no time for that. Right now, your job is to stop Metal Gear. Okay, Snake?
Listen, I know we kind of screwed you over here and you're gonna die, but you should probably also go and stop that thing from killing everyone else on planet Earth, yeah? I know right now you think I'm a massive dickhole, but you have to keep acting like the soldier you're trained to be. Alright, so here we go. Maybe we should talk to some people before we do it, including Campbell, who we're mad at.
Snake, re-input the PAL codes.
No! I don't like you! Master?
So Naomi used Foxdie to take her revenge on you.
I know!
But she said she wasn't the one who made the decision to use it. According to her, it was just one part of this operation.
If this goes all the way up to Campbell, it might not be so easy to get that vaccine. Oh well, forget about it.
Nastasha, I'm gonna ask you one more time. do you know anything about Fox Die and the real nature of this operation?
You didn't ask her at all.
Sorry. I have not been told anything about that.
That's funny. The Colonel said almost exactly the same thing. Sorry. I didn't mean to sound sarcastic. I believe you.
We glossed over an important note there. I don't recall anybody talking about a vaccine before except for Liquid, so why would Master Miller be talking about it?
I can't really blame Dr. Naomi. I feel sorry for her.
Oh, what?
Ever
You're
since
trying to
I
kill
was a
me?
little kid, I always hated my first name.
Hal, isn't it?
Yeah. My father was a big fan of science fiction movies. That's how I got stuck with it. But I'm not a computer. I'm human. My grandfather taking part in the Manhattan Project. My father being born on the day of the Hiroshima bomb. I hated every part of that. My name, my father, my grandfather. It felt like all those things were a ball and chain around my legs, dragging me down. But now that I think about it, I realize I was blessed. At least it proves that I was born, that I live. But Dr. Naomi didn't even know who her parents were, what her real name was. She must have been a very lonely little girl.
Otacon.
Sorry, Snake. I guess right now you should focus on re-inputting those PAL codes.
Don't worry, I'll get my revenge on you as well, but later.
Sneak, Naomi's under arrest.
What the hell is happening over there? What's the Colonel thinking?
Colonel Campbell is... I'm sorry, I can't say anymore. But please believe me, I'm here to help you until the end.
Of your life, that is. And then she shoots you in the back of the head.
Please, Snake, don't give up.
Oh, but I was going to. All right, here we go. Or not. Do that again. Sorry, I'm so used to hitting A to do things on this controller. It's the big green button, the do button, in the middle of the controller. Congratulations, Snake. You did it. You entered all 3 PAL codes, and now the Metal Gear is permanently and irrevocably...
PAL code number 3 confirmed. PAL code entry complete. Detonation code activated.
Son of a bitch! We got tricked.
No! Why?
Remember, they never said they got all the codes they needed to activate the weapons.
I deactivated it.
Did you? And here comes the turn.
Thank you, Snake. Now the detonation code is completed. Nothing can stop Metal Gear now.
Master, what's going on?
You found the key, and even activated the warhead for us too. I really must express my gratitude. Sorry to have involved you in that silly shape memory alloy business.
What are you talking about?
We weren't able to learn the DARPA chief's code. Even with Mantis' psychic powers, he couldn't read his mind. Then Ocelot accidentally killed him during the interrogation. In other words, we weren't able to launch the nuclear device, and we were all getting a little worried. Without the threat of a nuclear strike, our demands would never be met.
What do you mean?
Without the detonation codes, we had to find some other way. That's when I decided you might prove useful, Snake.
What?
Well, for starters, I had Decoy Octopus disguise himself as the DARPA chief. We thought we'd get the info from you, but there was Fox Die.
You mean you had this plan from the beginning? Just to get me to input the detonation code?
You didn't think you made it this far by yourself, did you?
Who the hell are you?
In any case, the launch preparations are complete. Once the world glimpses the power of this weapon, the White House will have no choice but to surrender the Fox Die vaccine to me. Their ace in the hole is useless now.
Ace in the hole?
The Pentagon's plan to use you was already successful in the torture room. Snake, you're the only one who doesn't know. Poor fool.
Who are you anyway?
I'll tell you everything you want to know. If you come to where I am, that is.
Where are you?
Very close by.
Snake, that's not Master Miller.
Oh, what?
You're too late.
Master Miller's body was just discovered at his home. He's been dead for at least 3 days. I didn't know because my codec link with Master was cut off. But Mei Ling said his transmission signal was coming from inside the base.
The killer's inside the house.
Snake, you've been talking to...
Me, dear brother.
You son of a bitch.
You've served your purpose. You may die now.
In the original game, they played that part of the dialogue with Master Miller way more arch. Like he was hitting his beats very sarcastically, and it always rung a little bit too melodramatic. I'm glad they fixed that in the re-release. I think it sounds a little more natural, like someone who's still in character, but not like, ha ha ha, well, we were getting a little worried, wink. Come on, we get it. You tricked him successfully. You don't have to, like, ham it up for the codec call with one person as well. All right, so I think we have to call Otacon to come get us out, but I might be wrong about that. We'll call around, see if anyone has any answers.
Snake, gas, do something.
I thought that's what he was about to say was it. Snake, gas, do something. Hangs up. that didn't help.
Snake, that's bulletproof glass. You can't break it with an ordinary weapon.
Punch it.
You open the security lock here?
I'll try. Just hold on for a minute.
Anyone else have any thoughts? I mean, I know you just turned on us, but let's ask Master Miller if he's got any thoughts. No? Okay. That'd be funny. Snake, you're a fool! Ha ha!
All I can do is wait for Dr. Emmerich to open the door. Stay alive, Snake.
Okay, alright. Good thing they didn't take my gas mask away when they captured me the first time, otherwise this would probably be a lot more painful experience. Just do some spin-roonies while I wait. You can shoot the computers, but that's not going to stop the detonation codes from being entered. Anytime, Otacon. I'm gonna run out of air! I'll let it get down to the word life and then pop a ration. Alright, gotta do it. Ration. Oh, this is torture. It's also a good way to bleed you of supplies before a big boss fight. They knew what they were doing. I'll try again. What are you doing, dummy?
Come on, hurry up already.
Hang on.
Yeah, this dopey look on his face. Dude, I'm gonna suffocate. Get it together.
I hacked into security. Snake, I'm opening the door.
Alright. Whew. Alright, put on a ration, then put on the body armor. We got a fight coming. Depending on how long this fight takes, this might be the last episode. I can't remember how long the final dialogue of the game takes, but it's not quick, so...
Liquid!
We're at the point where breaking the episode up into multiple parts would probably be a bad idea.
My sunglasses. Oh, you'd point a weapon at your own brother?
Why did you disguise yourself as Master?
To trick
So
you.
I could manipulate you more easily.
Duh.
Performed quite well, I must say. Although the boys at the Pentagon are probably saying the same thing.
What the hell are you talking?
Zing.
Following orders blindly with no questions asked, you've lost your warrior's pride and become nothing more than a pawn, Snake.
What?
Stopping the nuclear launch, rescuing the hostages, it was all just a diversion.
A diversion?
The Pentagon only needed you to come into contact with us. That's what killed the Arms Tech president and decoy octopus.
You don't mean...
That's right. You were sent here to kill us, so they could retrieve Metal Gear undamaged along with bodies of the Genome soldiers. From the beginning, the Pentagon was just using you as a vector to spread Fox Dye.
Fox Dye?
Yeah, played, son.
Are you telling me Naomi was working with the Pentagon?
They thought she was, but it seems that Dr. Naomi Hunter couldn't be controlled so easily.
What?
We've got a spy working in the Pentagon. He reported that Dr. Hunter altered Fox Dye's program just before the operation, but no one knows how or why.
I wonder, maybe they arrested her so they could find out the answer to that.
No doubt. But I had no idea she was motivated by such petty revenge. We still don't know what changes she made to Fox Dye's program. Oh well, doesn't matter. I've already added the Fox Dye vaccine to my list of White House demands.
There's a vaccine?
Oh, come on. They've said it a half a dozen times, dude.
But that woman is the only one who really knows. Anyway, it might prove to be unnecessary.
Oh,
Yeah.
spin move.
Why's that?
You were successful in coming into contact with all of us, so we must have all been exposed to the virus.
Quick, Snake, cough on him.
It's true that the Arms Tech president and decoy octopus were killed by Fox Dye.
Okay, what did he accomplish
Ocelot,
there?
Myself, and you, the carrier, were apparently unaffected.
A bug in the virus's programming?
Could be. In any case, if it doesn't kill you, then I'm not worried either. After all, our genetic code is identical.
So it's true. You and I are...
Twin snakes? Okay, we get it. You were in gymnastics.
Yes, twins. But we're not ordinary twins. We're twins linked by cursed genes. Les enfants terribles. You're fine. You got all of the old man's dominant genes. I got all the flawed, recessive genes. Everything was done so that you would be the greatest of his children. The only reason I exist is so they could create you.
So you're saying I'm the dominant one?
That's right. I'm just the leftovers of what they used to make you. Can you understand?
It's
what
not
it's
how
like
genetics
to know that
work,
you're
dude.
Garbage since the day you were born. But I'm the one Father chose.
So that's why you're so obsessed with Big Boss. Some warped kind of love.
Ha! Love? It's hate. His choosing me, knowingly, to be the inferior one? For this, I want revenge. You don't even understand this. You, who could kill your
He's really
own
whipping
real
his arms
father.
around.
You stole my chance for revenge. Now I'll finish the work that Father began. I will
And launch a singing
I
career.
will destroy him.
You're just like Naomi.
Well, I'm not like you.
I can sing!
Unlike you, I'm proud of the destiny that is encoded into my very genes.
Whoops.
You missed your last chance. You'll regret that forever!
Snake! Come! Kneel down and sacrifice yourself to this historic weapon! Consider it an honor! A gift from your brother! Now, you shall bear witness to the demon weapon that will drag the world
Into the 21st century!
Of which we are already a part, because this took place in 2005! Canonically. They tried to outdo the design of this one with the design of the Metal Gear in the next game, and let me tell you, they didn't do it. This is still the coolest looking of the Metal Gears. Does the design make logical sense? No, absolutely not. It's still cool looking. You put all that weight on the front toes, and the limbs are just kind of bent at a really sharp angle. This is a dumb design for a vehicle. Look at that. Look at how much weight it's putting on the front toes. I can jump ridiculously high for reasons! Ow! What was he hoping to accomplish there? I love that there's a tiny little dick gun underneath. In case he meets any female Rexes at some point. Alright, so, very important. Call around, talk to some people. One of them may know exactly what you need to do to damage this thing.
God help us. Metal Gear is moving.
My God.
Snake, it's all riding on you now. You've got to stop that thing. But how? You'll have to ask Dr. Emmerich, the guy who made it.
But, you know, you're still infected with fox dye, so try to kiss it or something. Maybe that'll work. Liquid? Call. Hey, no. Don't you hang up on me, sir. I'm not going to voicemail.
I'm a military analyst and an expert on high-tech weapons, but I do not know anything about Metal Gear. Why don't you ask Dr. Emmerich?
I guess that would go in the bad for this game, is the fact that when you get to these parts where there is intense music for like a boss fight, it tends to overpower the voice performances for some of these characters. They probably needed to bring it down further than they did.
Snake, Rex's armor is impregnable.
Yeah, all the voice parts are just too soft. They needed to just cut out the music.
Rex uses the latest advances in compound armor. The only way you can pierce it is with a high-performance heat round.
So what do I do?
Find some heat rounds.
It operates exactly like a VR system. It's got multiple sensors connected to a high-tech interface used for the controls. It's completely self-enclosed and shut off from the outside environment.
He's not using his naked eyes.
That's right. So if you could somehow destroy the sensors... Do you see that round plate on Rex's left arm?
Yeah, that thing that looks like a shield.
That's a radome. If you can destroy that thing, it won't be able to use its electronic equipment.
So he'll be blinded.
Yeah. Try to hit that radome with a Stinger missile.
So will that stop it?
No. Rex was designed so it can be controlled manually, too.
Oh, great.
The part that looks like a beak is where the pilot seat is.
I think the performance in the original game was better because it was a little more snarky. Ah, great.
You can't destroy it.
You told me that already.
But the interior is a different story.
I get it. First I destroy the radome. That will force him to open up the pilot's seat.
Right. If you can shoot a missile into the cockpit, you'll destroy the computer control system.
You intentionally designed it with a weak point?
It's not a weak point. More like a weakness. People and weapons just aren't very appealing without a weakness of some kind. Don't you think?
I guess so. I owe you one, Otacon.
I guess so, Otacon. Please, don't design any weapons for me, ever. Alright, so we need to have body armor on, because this is a pretty dangerous fight. He's got lots of weapons to attack you with. Where is my... There it is. Stinger. Turn off. Get into a spy. Break your name up. Owie! It is not easy. Not easy to get a shot on. Got him. Uh-oh. I didn't hear the missiles launch until it was too late. Oh, didn't hit. Oh, he still got me. I think if you're having trouble getting him to not attack you constantly, you actually have the option of shooting his legs to kind of disable them. Which isn't a bad strategy. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yep. Alright, aim. And... target. Got it. Oh, it blocked. If you get closer, he does use different weapons. He has like a machine gun and I think a laser of some kind, because, you know, video games. But there's really no reason to do that. Just stay at distance, dodge the missiles when he occasionally volleys them, and then fire back the radar. That's not the end of the fight, so we do have to actually attack him inside the mall.
Damn!
I told you what would happen, dumbass. I love that it roars like a T-Rex. Uh-oh. No!
Hurry! Get away!
No, just keep standing there, dumbass.
Gray Fox! A name from long ago. It sounds better than Deep Throat. So it is you.
I kind of like Deep Throat.
Terrible snake. You haven't aged well.
Oh, screw you, dude.
Send you back to hell!
I love that he now has a Mega Man arm. Why would you do that? Keep the sword. That's just bad choice making. It's Konami, but they found a way to sneak in Mega Man.
What do you want from me? I'm a prisoner of death. Only you can free me.
And Bomb Man.
Stay out of this. What about Naomi? She's hell-bent on taking revenge for you. Naomi? You're the only one who can stop her. No, I can't. Why?
Because we're here.
I'm the one who killed her parents.
Oh,
I was young then, and couldn't bring myself to kill her, too. Oh, I felt so bad that I decided to take her with me. I raised her like she was my own blood, to soothe my guilty conscience.
They're able to have this conversation right now because the Rex can't find them.
Me as her brother. Fox. Outwardly, we may have seemed like contented brother and sister. But every time I looked into her eyes, I trembled with fear. Tell her for me. Tell her that I was the one who did it.
There you are!
We're just about out of time. Here's a final present from Deep Throat. I'll stop it from moving. Fox!
This part I'm okay with, because he is an augmented cyborg ninja, so it's okay for this guy to do it. But Snake, come on. Oh, ow, oh! Oh, dick shot! Just tried to headbutt him. There's the laser weapon that we hadn't gotten to see yet.
In the Middle East, we don't hunt foxes, we hunt jackals. Instead of foxhounds,
We use Royal Harriers! Fox!
how strong is that exoskeleton of yours? Snake, are you just going to sit by and watch him die?
A cornered fox is more dangerous than a jackal!
I'd like to see some empirical evidence of that statement. In the original game, there's a segment where you're supposed to aim your gun at Fox and kill him, but they don't let you pull the trigger. I'm not sure why they took that out, or why they had it in the first place. It didn't really fit the storyline.
Impressive! You are indeed worthy of the codename Fox. But now you're finished!
Now, fire the stinger!
Fox! Can you really shoot?
Oh, there we
You'll
go.
kill him too!
So they do have it.
Now, in front
It's
of
no
you,
good. I can't
I
do
can
it.
finally die.
It's no good. I can't do it. It's no
After
good.
Sans
I can't
Land,
do it.
I was taken from the battle, neither truly alive nor truly dead. An undying shadow
can't
in a
do it.
world of light. But soon it will finally end.
I can't shoot.
He's trying so hard. Again, don't understand why they bothered putting that part in. It just didn't really fit narratively there.
Fox!
Okay, I'll stop.
Snake, we're not tools of the government or anyone else. Fighting was the only thing I was good at. But at least, I always fought for what I believed in. Snake, farewell.
Okay. Oh, add an insult to injury, rubbing it in.
When death is entreated, The battle is decided.
Now that is brutal.
You see, you can't protect anyone. Not even yourself.
Now, interesting, I don't remember him ever using the sword when I played this game. Maybe he does, maybe he just puts it away. Yeah, I didn't think so. Snake, not a sword fighter. Alright, put on the body armor again. Pick out the old stinger.
There you are!
Now, this is a part where hiding underneath his body can be a way to get away from him, but he can turn around. So you're just looking for some respite, going underneath his legs, he can't see where he went. Oh, shoot. Where is he? There he is. No, you didn't. Careful! Owie! Once he loses sight, you can just hide behind him for a bit until you get a good, clear chance to aim at him. Uh-oh. Foot getting close! Don't love that! I need you to aim here, at his face. Holy crap, that foot is close! Alright, let's move a little bit. No, right? No! Stop doing that. Oh, crap, he found me. He lost me now, so I can walk around a bit. Again, he has to find me visually. He doesn't have any sensors telling me where he is.
I got you, Snake!
There we go. Also, you don't exactly have to have a lock. You can just hit him manually firing. Come on. Unlock. There you go. Ow. We'll wait until the life gets down to the life meter, because unfortunately, if we lose our rations here, we don't have them to use in the next section, which really does happen right after this. I mean, there is no recovery. And if there are any rations around the battlefield, we may want to look around and grab them now. There's one way down there. In the direction he's currently facing. That's not good. Alright, now we have a chance. It's not this side, though. It's over here, actually. Right here. Yoink. Very good. I also have no idea if you get your health back at the end of this fight. I have to believe they give it to you, because they don't want to seem unfair. Where is... There it is. Oh. Damn it. Uh-oh. Oh, the danger of playing so close to his feet. Damn it. You're making this so hard, dude. Okay. Dance around, aim, and... Oh, okay. Let's do a little bandage here real quick. No, I don't want to shoot that. I want to shoot this. Shoot the cockpit. There we go.
Snake! I'll
crush you into dust!
Should be thankful you haven't been blown to bits, dude. I have fired a half a dozen missiles into the cockpit. Oh, the T-Rex is roaring its painful final roar. Ow. And Snake is now dead. The concussion from that explosion basically liquefied his organs. Again, how is anyone walking around here without a shirt on? You're in Alaska. It's gotta be cold.
Sleeping late as usual, eh, Snake?
Liquid, you're still alive.
I won't die. As long as you still live.
Too bad. It looks like your revolution was a failure.
Just because you've destroyed Metal Gear doesn't mean I'm done fighting.
Fighting?
Yeah, it does.
What are you really after?
The restoration of the era when warriors such as us lived as we should.
That was Big Boss's fantasy.
It was his dying wish. When he was young during the Cold War, the world needed men like us. We were valued then. We were desired.
Sexually, I mean.
But things are different now. With all the liars and hypocrites running the world, war isn't what it used to be.
War
We're
never
losing our
changes.
place in a world that no longer needs us. A world that now spurns our very existence. You should know that as well as I do. After I launch this weapon and get our $1 billion, we'll be able to bring chaos and honor back to this world gone soft. Conflict shall breed conflict. New hatreds will arise, and our own biosphere shall steadily expand.
But as long as there are people, there will always be war.
But the problem is balance. Father knew what type of a balance was best.
Is that the only reason?
Isn't that reason enough for warriors such as us?
I don't want that kind of world.
Ha! You lie. So why are you here then? Why do you continue to follow your orders while your superiors betray you? Why did you come here? Well, I'll tell you then. You enjoy all the killing, that's why.
What?
Are you denying it? Haven't you already killed most of my comrades?
Yeah.
That was...
I watched your face as you delivered the coup de grace. Oh, it reflected such vitality.
You're wrong.
That only plays if you kill
There
soldiers
is
in
a
this
killer
game.
inside you. You don't have to deny it. We were created to be that way.
Created?
Les enfants terribles. The terrible children. That's what the
I hope he has really good grippy
It
shoes,
started in the 1970s.
because that looks like a very steep hill.
Plan was to artificially create the most powerful soldier possible. The person that they chose as the model was a man known then as the greatest living soldier in the world.
Big Boss.
But Father was wounded in combat and already in a coma when they brought him in. So they created us from his cells, with a combination of 20th century analog cloning and the super baby method.
Super baby method?
They fertilized an egg with one of Father's cells, and then let it divide into 8 clone babies. Then they transferred the clones to someone's uterus, and later intentionally aborted 6 of the fetuses to encourage strong fetal growth. You and I were originally octuplets.
Octuplets?
Yes.
One of the big criticisms of David Hayter's portrayal of Snake is that he asks questions that are basically just repeats of whatever the other character just said. So, super baby method.
It was you and I. 2 fertilized eggs with exactly the same DNA.
Same DNA?
They weren't finished yet.
Not
They
finished?
used me as a guinea pig to create a phenotype in which all of the dominant genes were expressed to create you. I got all the recessive genes.
That's not how that works.
Everything from me before I was even born. But you and I aren't his only children.
What?
The genome soldiers. They too are his progeny, carrying on his genetic legacy. But unlike us, they carry it digitally. With the completion of the Human Genome Project in the last century, the mysteries of humanity were laid bare. Thanks to Father's DNA, they were able to identify more than 60 soldier genes responsible for everything from strategic thinking to the proverbial killer instinct. Those soldier genes were transplanted using gene therapy into the members of the next generation special forces. That's how they became the genome soldiers. That's right. The genome soldiers that you've been killing right and left are our brothers with the same genes as ours.
The genome soldiers?
They are misshapen creatures, artificially produced from Father's genetic pattern. They are our blood brothers, and they were born of many an ultimate sacrifice.
Sacrifices?
Snake, stop asking questions that are just 1 or 2 words.
1991, the Gulf War.
The Gulf War.
The military secretly injected soldiers with the soldier genes. The Gulf War syndrome that hundreds of thousands of returning soldiers complained about was a side effect of it.
Side effect?
Everyone knows that the Gulf War syndrome was caused by exposure to pesticides and radiation from depleted uranium rounds.
That was just a cover story issued by the Pentagon.
The Pentagon?
First, they tried to say it was post-traumatic stress disorder, then chemical or biological weapons. The poison gas detection units and the anti-sarin injections, they were all just to cover up the secret genetic experiments.
So then, the so-called Gulf War babies that have been reported by Gulf War veterans are...
Yes, they too are our brothers and sisters.
So the genome
Hell of a
soldiers
Christmas
knew that
list.
The experiments were a success?
Success? Don't be a fool. They're a complete failure. We're on the verge of extinction.
What?
Have you ever heard of the asymmetry theory? Nature tends to favor asymmetry. Those species which have gone extinct all show signs of symmetry. The genome soldiers suffer from the same problem, signs of symmetry. So do I, as do you.
Well, Cam Clark did not know how to say symmetry correctly.
That's right. We are all on the verge of death at the genetic
He
level.
just pronounced it like 4 different ways.
We don't know when or what type of disease will occur. That's why we need the old man's genetic information.
You want Big Boss's DNA so you can save your family? It's very touching.
In nature, family members don't mate with each other. And yet they help
You might
each
want
other
to check your notes on
survive.
that one.
Do you know why? Because it increases the chances that shared genes will be transmitted to future generations. Altruism among blood relatives is a response to natural selection. That we will help our blood relatives is inscribed in our very genes.
You're telling me that your genes are ordering you to save the genome soldiers?
You can't fight your genes. It's fate. All living things are born for the sole purpose of passing on their parents' genes. That's why I'll follow what my genes tell me.
And they
then
say 32
I'm going
by
to do
24.
beyond in order to break the curse of my heritage. And to do that, first, I will kill you. Look behind you.
Meryl?
Miraculously recovered from 3 gunshot wounds, 2 to the knees, 1 to the arm.
Is she alive?
I'm not sure. She was alive a few hours ago. Poor girl kept calling your name.
Meryl?
Stupid.
And he's calling her
Falling
name.
in love with a man who doesn't even have a name?
I have a name.
No. We have no past, no future. If we did, our fate is nothing but what is determined in the genes we inherited from our father.
Let Meryl go.
As soon as we finished our business, we're almost out of time.
You're talking about Fox Die.
No. It seems now that the Pentagon knows that Metal Gear is destroyed. They've arrived at a decision. They won't even need a BDA. If you want the details, why don't you ask your precious Colonel Campbell?
I can't even touch my cheek. How am I going to call him?
Colonel, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm listening.
What is the Pentagon trying to do? Colonel, answer me.
The Secretary of Defense has taken over active control of this operation. He's on his way there by AWACS.
What for?
To bomb the place.
What?
Not only that, B-2 bombers just lifted off from Galena Air Force Base. They're carrying B-6113 surface-piercing tactical nuclear bombs.
What? Metal Gear is destroyed. Tell the Secretary of Defense.
The Secretary of Defense heard that Naomi double-crossed us, and he's worried about Fox Die. Now that there's no more danger of a nuclear strike from Metal Gear, he's going to do whatever's necessary to cover up the truth of what really happened here.
He's going to drop a nuclear bomb to vaporize all the evidence, along with anyone who knows anything.
Don't worry, Snake. I'll stop the nuclear strike.
How?
I'll kiss
I
him.
may be
It'll
only a
confuse him.
figurehead here, but I'm still officially in command of this mission. If I issue an order to delay the strike, it'll confuse the chain of command and at least buy you some time. It'll give you a chance to escape.
But Colonel, if you do that...
It's okay, Snake. The truth is, Foxhound was already the subject of an undercover investigation. Merrill was transferred to this base just before the terrorist attack as a way of manipulating me.
Those bastards.
I'm sorry.
It's twist
They
upon
forced me to
twist.
cooperate in exchange for her life. You'd better get out of there, Snake.
Are you sure? It'll be bad for you.
Don't worry. It's the least I can do for you after all the lies.
Colonel.
I'm ordering them to cancel the bombing run. After that, there's no turning back. Huh? What are you doing?
Snake!
Mei Ling, what happened to the Colonel?
I don't believe it!
What happened?
Snake, the Colonel!
Roy Campbell has been relieved of duty. This is the Secretary of Defense, Jim Hausman.
Put the Colonel back on.
He's been placed under arrest for leaking top-secret information and for the crime of high treason.
Ridiculous.
Yes, he is a ridiculous man.
No, what you did was
Truly
ridiculous.
believed that he was in command of this operation.
You bastard.
There won't be a speck of evidence left. I'm sure the President would want the same thing.
The President ordered this?
The President
No, idiot.
is a busy man. I have complete authority here.
How do you plan on explaining a nuclear attack on Alaska to the media?
Don't worry. We've prepared a convincing cover story. We'll simply say that the terrorists exploded a nuclear device.
Damn it! You'll be murdering everyone here. The scientists, the Genome Army, everyone.
Donald, the DARPA chief, is already dead.
So you didn't mean to kill the DARPA chief after all.
He was my friend.
And you could care less about what happens to everybody else, huh?
Well, if you give me the optic disc, I might consider saving them.
What are you talking about?
Metal Gear's test data. Donald was supposed to bring it back.
I don't have it.
Why would you say
I
that?
see. Oh well, that's okay. You two are an embarrassment from the 1970s. Our country's dirty little secret. You can't be allowed to live. You're just the lingering ghosts of a system that is no more. Well, do try to get along in the time you have left before the bomb.
He had a bargaining chip. He could have just said, oh yeah, I got the disc right here. And he didn't do it.
Let's finish this before the airstrike. You stole everything from me.
Including my
I
shirts.
shall nullify you and your genes, and I will take them all back.
Every last shirt.
She'll make a beautiful sacrifice for our final battle. Do you see this? This will be the time limit for our final battle. When death comes for this girl, this nuclear module shall vanish from this world as well. If you win, you might still be able to save her. You could enjoy one brief moment of love before the end.
They just do it right there on top of the racks. I can also jump 50 feet in the air. Screw logic.
And if you cross this line, you'll fall.
What
At
line?
this height, it'll kill even you. How about you, Snake?
Snake pulls out the katana that he threw down from Gray Fox. Gamble? No. Let's call Master Miller in the middle of the fight. Oh, I'm sorry. Look what I forgot. It was you. Well, Natasha's still online.
It's just you and Liquid now. There is no advice I can give you. Trust yourself. You have got to win.
Meryl, wake up. I like to imagine, instead of calling her, he just leans over and goes, "Hey, Meryl! Hey!" Deep throat? Oh, I'm just talking to a blood spatter on the ground now. Otacon?
Snake, I don't know anything about fighting, but you've got to beat Liquid.
Alright, well, let's save.
Snake?
Yes, let's save. So I was right. Well, we'll probably be able to finish the game in this episode. I don't think there's a ton left after this fight.
Win, Snake, win!
It's mostly just finishing the story out at the end here. Alright, so there is a tactic, and the game is obviously being very coy and not saying what you gotta do. But no, I didn't want to do that. Sorry. Don't do a full combo. Just punch, 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 punch. He's looking to respond to a full combo. If you just keep doing single jabs, he usually doesn't get a chance to fight back. Oh! Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, see. If you try to do a full combo, he just takes a counter shot.
Going to blow!
I don't know what I just got, but whatever. I got his tags. I got Liquid Snake's tags by knocking him off the thing. That's funny.
Better hurry! It's going to blow!
Okay, stop it. Yeah. How's that feel? Oh, no, you don't. We're making progress. Hey, it went over again. Oh, got him. He was going to do his little bull charge, but he didn't get a chance. Uh-oh. Big hit. Uh-oh. See, he's starting to do his big hits, and we don't have anything else to heal with. So they did take away everything, but you get it back in a second here. That's a really good way to get some bruises on your calf muscles. Now, boys, perfectly symmetrical fighting has never solved anything. Ow. Okay, yeah, sure. They hit so hard, the entire Metal Gear shook. He just uppercut a man 50 feet away from him.
Snake!
Still bowed out it like crazy. Look at that. Oh, he missed his chance to roar. Brrr! And now the most nonsensical part of the entire game. Okay, not the most nonsensical, but
Meryl.
She got bullets through both knees. She should not be able to walk.
Snake?
Your chin, it's hideous.
Snake, you're alive. Thank God.
Meryl. Meryl, are you okay?
Are you okay? Is that all you can say?
Meryl, you must have been terrible.
It wasn't that bad. I didn't give in to the torture.
Torture?
And things even worse than that. I was fighting too. Just like you.
You're a strong woman.
Fighting them made me feel closer to you. I felt like you were there with me.
Okay, but seriously, guys, that bomb is still ticking.
Strength to go on. But I was scared.
I'm sorry.
Don't say that. But it made me realize something.
Snake Eye, boom!
And shame. There was one thing I was sure of. A single hope that I held on to.
We bang after all
And that
this.
hope kept me alive.
Snake. I wanted to see you again.
Meryl.
Guys, seriously, there is a bomb 5 feet away that was not disarmed. Whoa, watch that hand. Campbell, I'm trying to bang your niece.
That's my codec.
How would she hear that? It's in your blood.
Snake, it's me. It looks like you stopped Rex.
Yeah, you're about 20 minutes late on that one.
Meryl's okay.
All right. You saved her, man. Good job.
I got some bad news, too. We're about to be bombed.
Oh, boy. I guess we're considered expendable.
Is there a way out of here?
A way out? Yeah. You can take the loading tunnel to the surface. There's a parking garage right next to you. The tunnel leads from there to the surface.
The door in front?
No, it's a small entrance to the west of that door.
How about the security?
I just unlocked it. Who do you think you're talking to? I'll take care of security along your escape route, too.
What are you going to do?
Me? I'll stay here.
Are you crazy?
I need a little more time to take care of your escape route.
But
unlocking the security doors is difficult work. Only I can do it.
Otacon.
Don't worry. I'm staying here. It's my own decision.
Otacon, this is a hardened shelter, but they're going to use a surface-piercing nuclear bomb. It won't hold.
I'm through regretting the past. Life isn't all about loss, you know? Snake, I'm a complete person now. I've found a reason to live.
Good. Don't die on me.
Same to you. Take care of Meryl, okay?
I will.
Okay, I gotta go. I promise I'll do something about your escape route.
Thanks.
Thanks. Oh, that sounds nice.
I believe in you.
Thanks, Snake.
I think there's a little bit of a trade back and forth between lines that were performed better in the original versus the remake getting them better.
What about him?
The end there, I think Otacon's original
Otacon?
recording was a little bit better.
He's fighting right now. With his old self. To be the man he wants to be.
He's fighting for us too?
Yeah, and I don't want it to be in vain.
So we got to record whatever we do after this.
Me too.
Seriously, that bomb should have blown up a long time ago. He never went and turned off the detonator. How are you walking? Look at those bullets. There's no way they did not hit bone. Even if it just hit tissue, you should not be able to move your legs.
It started.
I must be heavy.
Looks like we're not gonna have a love scene after all.
Looks that way. Too bad.
Let's get out of here.
Snake, it's freezing outside. You need some clothes.
I guess. Don't worry, though. I'll be fine in this tank top. Take 5 minutes to look around for your gear. Oh, there it is.
There's my sneaking suit.
Oh, I'll go grab it. I put my sneaking suit on. Let's go.
Hurry!
What? Jump cut to her having a jacket.
Looking good, Snake.
We're trying to escape, remember? You want to bang right now? Alright, not going back in that way. And now we're into the escape sequence. This would be a good time to save.
Hurry!
Yeah. You hurry and I'll save. Let's try to get a hold of a couple people. No response from the commander. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to... There we go. Liquid? No. Nastasha! You're still... No? All right. How about... No, Meryl's here. Yeah. Still a blood spot on the floor back behind us. How about Otacon? No one wants to talk. How about Mei Ling? Mei Ling? She'll still talk.
Snake, they've placed the Colonel under arrest. I don't know what I should do. This will probably be your last save.
Probably.
Those proverbs of yours.
Snake?
Mei Ling, I have a favor to ask you. Make a hard copy of all the codec conversation data up to this point. I want some insurance.
Okay, Snake. Leave it to me. Snake, please be safe for me.
Okay. Let's do it. Oh, we're gonna put on the... No, they took away all my gear. I was gonna put on the body armor for this last sequence, but you don't even get to do that.
Let me drive.
I can't move my arms and legs correctly anymore, but whatever. Okay, how do we get it?
No key.
I don't have a gun here. I can't help you.
Snake, it started. Get in.
Thank you. I'm trying. Not exactly the most friendly system here. Ow. Anyone else want to try? Come on. I think we have to shoot something other than the guards trying to come in. Maybe the barrels? Yep, there we go. See ya! Alright, we're into the final sequence of the game, and guess what? We have to kill more people. Wow, the camera just snapped my gun to the side. That sucked. There we go. Owie! There we go.
Here they come!
Snake, shoot him.
I'm trying. We're gonna need to take one of those rations. Unfortunately, that's it. There are no other rations you find. So you gotta make it through this safely, or you're gonna have to repeat the whole thing.
Not yet, Snake!
What do you gotta do to kill this man?
It's not over yet! Liquid!
And now for probably the worst part of the game. Gameplay-wise. This is not a fun part. Because he's so dodgy, and it can be very hard to get a clear shot on him. And he does that shit. Got the lights out, so he can't blind me anymore. Also, just logically, how many bullets does it take to kill a man? Really, it's not about killing him, it's just about outlasting him to the end of the game. How many bullets, man? I've hit you so many times. Thank you. I think it's it.
Look, Snake, daylight!
Yep, we're done. So confident in that, I'm just gonna go ahead and put the controller down and enjoy the rest of the ride. And the controller shook while it was on the counter. Whatever. Because remember, the best way to fight someone when you have full use of your arms and legs is to headbutt them repeatedly.
Are you okay?
What's it gonna take, man?
Snake. Snake!
After all that, the thing that takes him down is...
Fox?
Die.
If they really wanted to add a twist. Have him evacuate his bowels right there. All right, that second stand-up was definitely added to this game, and I don't know if it was necessary.
If he's dead, that means...
Yeah. Sorry, bro.
Say it, Snake.
What happened to the air raid? No stealth bombers in sight.
Yeah, see the Big Dipper.
Snake, can you hear me?
Colonel!
Are you okay?
Colonel, what happened?
The Secretary of Defense has been arrested. Early retirement.
Arrested?
I was able to get into contact with the President. Metal Gear, the training exercise, all of it. It was all the Secretary of Defense acting alone.
Acting alone? What happened to the air raid and the nuclear strike?
The orders were rescinded. The F-117s and the B-2 bombers have returned to the base. Once again, I have complete authority over this operation.
I see.
Washington isn't stupid enough to use nukes to cover up a few secrets.
I wonder about that.
In any case, the danger's over. Thanks, Snake.
Colonel, you can rest easy. Meryl's fine.
Really? Thanks. Thank you, Snake. Snake, I'm sorry I kept a lot of things from you.
It's okay, Colonel.
Snake, I'm not a colonel.
Oh, that's right.
I've got a present for you. There's a snowmobile close to you. Mei Ling saw it on the satellite photos.
It's not really a present. You're just telling me where something I can steal is.
You should be able to ride right out of there. I'll bet the boys at the DIA and the NSA never expected you to come home alive.
They're gonna kill you now.
I'd better not show my face around there.
No danger of that. You two officially died after your Jeep sank into the ocean.
Even though they're still both visible.
Far from the truth.
There's also a helicopter waiting for you at the Fox Islands.
Dr. Hal Emmerich should be somewhere on the base. I want someone to bring him in.
I understand. Leave it to me.
Okay.
Or you could go get him.
Are you going to be okay?
Don't worry. I've got an insurance policy. A hard copy of all of Mei Ling's data. As long as I've got that, you, me, and Mei Ling will be fine.
The battery on these nanomachines will run out soon. They won't be able to follow us.
I guess we won't meet again.
Don't worry. I'll pay you a visit sometime.
Really? I'll look forward to that.
Roy, just tell me one thing.
What?
About Foxdie.
Meryl will be fine. She wasn't included in its programming.
What about me? It killed Liquid.
Naomi said she wants to talk to you face to face about that.
How is she?
Don't worry. Mei Ling's with her right now.
We've forgiven her for trying to kill you.
It's me.
Naomi.
I heard about my brother.
Frank wanted to tell you something.
He killed your parents. He's kind of a dick.
Told me to tell you to forget about him and to go on with your own life.
Frankie said that?
Yeah. He also said he'll always love you. Naomi, your brother just saved you, me, and the whole world. He fought on sheer willpower until the very end.
You did most of the work there.
Maybe now he's finally found some peace. My brother was already dying. Ever since he fought with you in Zanzibar land, he's been like a ghost. A ghost looking for a place to die.
Naomi, Liquid died from Foxdie too. What about me? When am I going to go?
That's up to you.
What?
What do you mean?
Everybody dies when their time's up.
Yeah, so when's mine up?
It's up to you how you use the time left to you.
Okay, but how long?
Live, Snake.
A specific time.
That's all I can say to you.
Call her back and say, no, really, how long?
Born with their fate written into their own genetic code, inscribed into their genes. But that's not all there is to life. I finally realized that. I told you before, the reason that I was interested in genes and DNA. Because I wanted to know who I was, where I came from.
Detroit!
I thought that if I analyzed my DNA...
Ooh, that skybox looks rough.
who my parents were. And I thought that if I knew that, then I'd know what path I should take in life. But I was wrong. I didn't find anything. I didn't learn anything. Just like with the genome soldiers, you can input all the genetic information, but that doesn't make them into the strongest soldiers. The most we can say about DNA is that its genetic information houses a person's strengths or destiny. You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. Snake, whether you've been programmed or not isn't important. The important thing is that you choose life. And then live. Don't you think, Snake? Don't worry. I'm gonna choose life too. Until today, I've always looked for a reason to live. But from now on, I'm going to just live. Genes exist to pass down our
The
hopes
break and
and
cut scenes there is so weird. It doesn't fit. It's so goofy. They did it in the PS1 because obviously the cutscenes had to be a certain length per file. Here it just doesn't need to happen.
each new generation, then the world can change. I finally realized it. The true meaning of life. Thank you, Snake.
Look, I found this.
For your next playthrough.
Let's keep it as a reminder.
Of what? A reminder of a successful mission? Or a reminder of the first time we met?
A reminder of how to live.
Huh?
Until today, I've lived only for myself. My survival instinct that tells me not to die. That's all the motive I've had in my life.
That's not just you. That's how everyone is.
I only felt truly alive when I was staring death in the face. I don't know. Maybe it's written into my genes.
What about now?
Oh, sorry, I fell asleep.
Future now.
Maybe it's time I live for someone else.
Oh.
Someone else?
Yeah. Someone like you. Maybe that's the real way to live.
I thought I could put the controller down and it wouldn't cause any extra noise.
David. My name is David.
Hey, twinsies!
Okay, so where to, Dave?
I think it's time we look for a new path in life.
A new path?
A new purpose.
Will we find it?
We'll find it. I know we'll find it.
Hey, what are those?
Trees!
Caribou. To the Aleutians, the caribou is a symbol of life. It'll be spring here soon.
Also, they're fiercely territorial, so we should go the other way.
Yeah. Spring brings new life to everything. It's a time for hope. I've lived here a long time, but Alaska has never looked more beautiful. The sky, the sea, the caribou, and most of all, you.
It's nice, isn't it? Being alive.
Come on. Let's enjoy life.
Ocelot was behind them the whole time, listening. That was beautiful, Snake, and then he turns around and shoots him. Alright, can I put the controller down? No more vibrating, please. Okay, there we go. In the 1980s, there were more than 60,000 nuclear warheads in the world at all times. The total destructive power, amounted to 1 million times that of the Hiroshima A-bomb. In January 1993, START II was signed by the United States and Russia, agreed to reduce the number of deployed strategic nuclear warheads from to 3,000 to 3,500 by the year 2007, whatever. However, as of 2003, there still exists more than 20,000 nuclear warheads in the world. And guess what? As of 2024, there are still 13,000 nuclear weapons in the world. All right, so there you go. That is Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. Again, this is a remake of the original game, so there was some stuff that may have been redone. Graphics were improved. The gameplay was changed up to be more like the sequel game. A whole bunch of changes and upgrades and choices that were made that may have made the game better or worse, depending on your interpretation. We are going to review the game based on this version, not the original. So the score will reflect my feelings on what we just experienced, not necessarily the original game's version. However, there are obviously similarities between the two of them, we will discuss. Let's go ahead and do our review phase like we do any other game that I physically owned when I was a younger person. I can't say kid, because in 2005 I was, good lord, 23, 24 at that point. We'll do a round of the good, the bad, and the ugly. I do have notes written down, so I am reading from notes. The good is that many of the environmental details from the Metal Gear Solid 2 version, or the sequel game, were included in the remake to great benefit. The option to tranquilize guards was a nice addition, considering that Kojima never likely wanted Snake to be a mass murderer. That's why they kind of snuck that little sequence in at the very end when you're interacting with Liquid and he says how much you enjoyed killing people. If you go around and tranquilize or knock out guards instead of killing them, he doesn't say that. Spotlights, cameras, detonators, and gun turrets can all be disabled by shooting them, and that was not an option in the original release, so you have more options for how to interact with the environment around you. The graphical upgrade does make this a far more visually appealing game than the original, with a few caveats that I'll address a little bit later. Generally speaking, this is a much better looking game than the original. The PlayStation suffered from severe problems doing texture mapping. Most of what you saw in the PlayStation 1 era of games, if it was a 3D model with texturing, was just squares of color. And sometimes they could make the textures really detailed because they could get those texture maps really fine in detail. This game, or the original version of this game, suffered pretty significantly because when the characters talked in that game, and you can see the 3D models moving, not the codec shots, their heads just kind of bobbed up and down because they didn't have enough detail to show eyes or the mouth moving. So literally all of what you saw on screen in the original game, if it was a character talking, was just their head nodding up and down and maybe their arms moving a little bit. So the graphical improvement did make this a better game. The soundtrack is vastly improved over the original, which had only a bare handful of tracks that frankly just felt a bit plodding. They were not very dynamic. This game, the music is so much better than the original version of the game. And I think it does show. There were certain sequences where I just was feeling a little more connected to the action on screen because it wasn't the same 2, 3, 4 tracks that you would hear throughout the original. The core plot of the game is still fantastic. You're addressing our real world's inability to give up on nuclear weapons, which is a subject that Kojima would revisit in Metal Gear Solid 5. He goes over that. I mean, there was a whole element in the game where you could build your own online base that you had the ability to put a nuclear weapon in. And Kojima made a metagame for it where players had the option to choose to make those weapons and then choose to disarm them. And he made special cutscenes that would play if you hit a certain number of nukes that were created by the players in the game versus an existence where you hit a threshold and then everybody disarmed voluntarily. And that cutscene could only be triggered if everybody in the game world reached either a very low number or all of them were gone. And someone actually they managed to do it. Gamers did that. As weird an idea as that is. This game also addressed the doomed destinies of the children of Big Boss and everyone in their orbits. In this case, you're literally talking about the fact that all of the genome soldiers had a gene altering in order to inherit certain genes that they had identified in Big Boss. So the game is kind of going into their fates a little bit. The fact that at some point the genome soldiers are all going to die because of their gene editing are starting to show signs of symmetry, and they were trying to help cure that. They don't really go into too much detail about that, but they give you a rough idea of that. The bigger story there is the genetic connection between the siblings and Big Boss. There is a little bit of a scene that's about to play here. I'll shut up.
You mustn't allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes. Humans can choose the type of life they want to live. Snake, whether you've been programmed or not isn't important. The important thing is that you choose life. And then live.
And there's a conversation that's about to occur.
The entire unit was wiped out. Yes. Yes, sir. Thanks to the vaccine. Yes, those two are still alive. The Vector? Yes, sir. Foxdie should become activated soon. Right on schedule. Yes, sir. I recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead data. No, there are no other records. They've all been deleted from the base's computer. No, sir. My cover is intact. Nobody knows who I really am. Yes, the DARPA chief knew my identity, but he's been disposed of.
Nice. Never caught that one in the past.
Yes. Yes. Liquid is dead. The inferior one was the winner after all. That's right. Until the very end, Liquid thought he was the inferior one. Of course, the other one thinks so too. Yes, sir. I agree completely. It takes a well-balanced individual such as yourself to rule the world.
Oh.
Yes. Yes, sir. No, sir. No one knows that you were the third one. Solidus.
Abba.
What should I do about the woman? Yes, sir. I understand. The surveillance will continue. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. President.
Dun, dun, dun. He was talking with the president this whole time. All right, anyway, you can see my progress in the game. We played for 10 hours. I did beat the game on easy. I know I should be ashamed of myself. I should have played it on harder difficulty. And they give you a code name that you can determine based on however your performance was, whether or not you did really good or really bad. The only way to get the really, really good scores, play on the highest difficulty, never get caught, never kill anyone, don't use rations. It's really, really difficult, and frankly, it's just not that fun. I mean, it's frustrating, because I think the number of saves you use are counted against your score. So ultimately, the more you're saving your gameplay in a big boss run is counted against what your chances are of getting the big boss title. Not worth it. It's too much of a headache. Anyway, let's get back to our review phase here. Where was I? The strategies of let's try it again. Strategies for defeating each boss are still fun, even if you knew the tricks from the original. Psycho Mantis in particular is still awesome. Clearly, Kojima agreed because he revisits some of the ideas that he had for the Psycho Mantis fight in future games. You're talking about the fact that he does a funny little trick where he has you put the controller down and then vibrates it. So he's using psychokinesis to move the controller. And then he reads your save files on your memory card and talks about the specific games that you were playing. Those were all genius ideas. The first time I played it, the original version of the game, it just blew my mind that was something that they could do, is they'd read your save files on your card and they would quip about them, especially if they were Konami games. Back then, it would have been Symphony of the Night. There was a little line he would say where he would go, "You like Castlevania, don't you?" That one always stuck in my memory. So yeah, those aspects are still fun. Again, once you learn certain tricks against bosses, maybe it makes it a little bit too easy, but if you just try to beat them the way you've done every other character in the game. It's doable, but it's more difficult. They do intend for you to experiment a little bit and find something that works in a way that takes advantage of the enemy's weaknesses. Like the fight against Sniper Wolf. Yeah, you could get into a sniper battle with her and try to take her down that way, but she's a sniper. She's really good at that. The trick there is use a weapon that she can't see coming from a distance while you're in cover and kill her that way. And the Nikita missiles don't get used for a whole lot in this game, so having a chance to use them in a boss fight that she is too dumb to catch, beautiful. Now, I did say I think you can use those against Vulcan Raven, but this is another situation where the enemy was designed to see that coming and take them out. So if you don't sneak up on him with your missiles, I think he can shoot them down. That's why they show you that cutscene of him shooting down a Stinger missile. They want you to understand, the trick you used against the previous boss, against Sniper Wolf, is not going to work there. But they give you other options. You can put down claymores, and he does not see them and trips the sensor zone and gets hit every time. A lot of fun playing the boss fights in this game. The bad. The controls took some time to get used to, especially if you're used to the layout from the original game on the PlayStation 1. Unfortunately, because there is no select button on the GameCube controller, that meant having to make codec calls involved you holding start and pressing A. If you want to look at a map, you had to hold start and press B. If you're playing the game, there's no way to pause it and see those controls, and that can be really frustrating if you don't have them memorized. That is unfortunately something they could not avoid with this controller. Not to mention, the GameCube controller has one shoulder button on each side and a Z button that would act as the second shoulder button on the right side. That's not great design either. I get that they wanted to try to emulate the button scheme of the N64 controller, where it had 4 C buttons that were kind of used to act as a camera, and you had an A and a B, and you had 2 shoulder buttons and 1 Z trigger underneath the controller that would act like, the trigger on a gun. But I don't know if that made playing this game easy at all. I think it was just the buttons did not feel intuitive at all during the gameplay. It took me probably the better part of the first episode and into the second one before I finally got comfortable using the control scheme as it was laid out. And the map is pretty much unnecessary in this game. They give you a map that you can pull up, that 3D model that you can pull up by pressing start and B. I don't think any of the areas were confusing in their layout or so sprawling and twisting that it was impossible to just memorize where you were as you were playing it. This is one of those rare instances where the game designs were so good that you didn't need a map and they put one in. I've spent so much time on this channel complaining that games with a map that is way too big and way too complicated needed a map and didn't have it. And in this game, the opposite is true. The map is not that big, it's not that confusing, and they put in a map that you didn't need. It's so weird. I don't... It's like the game industry went backwards and forwards at the same time. They went in a circle. It's an Ouroboros of a problem. Having a map when you don't need it versus having no map when you absolutely need it. It's so weird. Search teams give up way too easy in this game when they're trying to find you, especially if you take down a guard that is supposed to be in radio contact with a commanding officer. They give up way too quickly. They look on one floor for about 2 seconds and then they just kind of walk away. It doesn't feel real. If they were a really good search team, they would try to search the whole area to find that missing guard instead of just checking where they were supposed to be for 2 seconds and going, nah, he's not here. I don't know. And then just leaving without replacing the guard. The story in this game, and this was a problem not only with the original, but also in the sequel, it delves way too much into soap opera style nonsense. Why were so many characters obsessed with Snake's love life? They should be concerned with the fact that there are terrorists threatening to fire a nuke Originally at the White House, I think, but then they say it's going to be somewhere in China. That should be the priority. It shouldn't be, Snake, is there anyone in your life that you love? Why are we talking about this right now? Not to mention, and I started commenting on this towards the end of the game, there were so many twists, it was hard to keep track of who we were supposed to be upset at times. First, you find out that, oh, Naomi's been working with the bad guys, and then they arrest her, and, oh, the Colonel might be in on this, too. Oh, the Colonel's been captured, and the Secretary of State is coming in to take over the operation, kill everyone. And then, you know, the commander, or Campbell, comes back, and then, oh, well, they're going to let Naomi talk to you after all. She tried to kill me! They did so many twists. I think Kojima lost track of who we were supposed to trust and who we weren't. And it really never made sense that Naomi gets the final dialogue in the entire game. She's a bad person. She wanted to kill me. She injected me with a virus to take my life at some point. And then when we say, hey, can you tell me when I'm going to die? She's like, it's up to you when you die. No. You know, you designed the virus. Tell me when I'm going to die. She won't tell you. She just gives you a bunch of florid nonsense at the end about how making the most of the life you have left is what's important now. Screw you! Tell me how I can survive this. Nastasha Romanenko served absolutely no purpose to the story and probably just could have been written out of the remake altogether. She does not participate in any of the mandatory codec calls during this game. The only time you ever interact with her is when you call her. It's not like Master Miller, where technically you could spend the game without talking to him, except for the one time you have an interaction at the very beginning of the game, up until he starts interrupting calls to ask questions about Naomi and then start telling you that, hey, I think there's something up with this chick. You better have the Colonel investigate. Romanenko just, it felt like they wanted a weapons expert, but they forgot to actually make her a part of the story in any meaningful way. Liquid Snake's Master Miller portrayal was inconsistent, especially if you choose to call him yourself. He vacillates at times between helping you and possibly tricking you. It's a little bit weird, because there are times when it's like he's giving you information on how to kill his own comrades. Why would you do that if they're the people helping protect you from being taken down before you can enact your plan? Why are you giving me hints on how to shoot a sniper? That's your teammate, man. I don't understand why they did that. Frankly, the twist in the storyline when you find out Master Miller was actually Liquid Snake in disguise the whole time probably would have worked better if you could not ever call him. He was just part of the main team communicating with you, and he just kind of dropped in every now and then to talk to you about some aspect of the story. But they didn't do it that way, so it was very strange. As far as the ugly, some of the facial details on various characters in this game are terrible. Fugly, even, if you want to use a made-up word. Snake looks like he's squinting all the time. When they move the camera in on him, he's like got this weird squinty look in his eyes that just, it's so goofy. Ocelot, when they would get the camera right up in his face, he looked cross-eyed. Why did they make his character model like that? And Otacon, he has a shadow under his nose that I'm sure what they were trying to go for there was he had stubble because he hadn't been shaving. But honestly, it just makes it look like he has a runny nose and he refuses to wipe it. It was very off-putting. Heating and cooling that card would have been more tedious if not for the secret room I had used. And frankly, it's a good thing that I did that because it saved us probably about 20 minutes in the final episode or the second to final episode. No, it was in this one. It would have been a waste of time. There wouldn't have been any serious story development. It would have just involved you backtracking again in areas of the game that you didn't need to go back through for any reason. You got to the final area of the game. There was no purpose to making the player run back to those areas. Thankfully, and I think this is why they put it in there, they realized this is a waste of players' time. Let's just put a little platform they can fall to, hit a couple of pipes, cool off or heat up the card, and get it over with as fast as possible. I'm glad they put it in there, but the fact that they designed that in the first place in this game was pretty ugly. It just... the ugly is always meant to be nitpicky things that I don't love, and that would have been one of those nitpicky things I never loved about the original game. Having to manually equip the body armor was a very strange choice in this game. They literally could have just made this a one-time equip, like the SOCOM suppressor. Think about that for a second. When you play through this game and you pick up the SOCOM, it doesn't have a suppressor. When you find the suppressor later, you activate it as an item, and it just attaches to the gun, and that's all you ever have to do. You never have to manually equip it ever again. The body armor is not interfering with your ability to do anything in this game, so why wouldn't you just put it on, and it stays on your body? I never understood that choice. That should have been just a permanent upgrade. Hey, you did a good job searching the environment. You found some body armor. Here you go. You permanently have the damage that you're going to take from hits by the enemy. That was handled pretty dumb. I didn't love that. The color choices for the thermal goggles, accurate or not, are distractingly bright. It was just like they gave you the ability to use them, and I did it as little as possible because it was headache-inducingly bright. Now, I get it. If you're walking through an area with lights turned on, it's probably going to be that bright. They should not have done it that way. The night vision goggles also pretty much useless because there are no rooms in this game where the lights are completely off and you need to be able to see. So it's odd that they put night vision goggles in this game and they literally serve no purpose. The game's constant fourth wall breaking is goofy, and they took it way further than the original game. What I mean by that is when you're getting ready to go through the interrogation sequence and Ocelot says, "Don't use auto fire or I'll know," and he points at the camera speaking to you specifically as a player. This is something they didn't do in future games. This is the only time in this entire series where the game kind of winks and nods at the camera, telling you, by the way, we know this is a game. Ha ha ha. Don't cheat. I just never felt like it really belonged. The story has its moments. All of the games have their moments where the story is a little bit stupid and eye-rolly, or maybe a little bit horny, or a lot of bit horny because, you know, the camera is pointed at a character's butt or boobs or whatever, and it just feels childish, and that's kind of Kojima's whole thing. He is kind of a shameless pervert, but the fourth wall breaking has always felt inconsistent with the game because I don't feel like the game or the characters know at any point after this game that they're in a video game and that they're doing what you're telling them to do. They're not looking at the camera and saying, "Don't forget to shoot this guy before you go across this bridge or he might fight back. All right, back to the game." It's always been strange, and the fact that they just leaned into it so much harder in this game was dumb. We've already talked about the fact that the bullet time stuff that was in this game where the character Snake is flipping off of missiles and doing acrobatic stuff is incredibly silly. I would put that in the ugly. I know a lot of people hated it about this game, and they thought it ruined the experience. It is inconsistent with future versions of the character of Snake. He is not a super gymnastics heavy character. He does roll. He does do fighting. That fighting, especially as the series advances, starting with Metal Gear Solid 3 and then into 4 and then into 5, does use a lot of very flashy looking but still very grounded close quarters combat. One of the whole conceits of the third game is the term CQC and how, Naked Snake is very good at using CQC to take everyone down. He helped develop it with Boss. Well, they didn't have that really in the very first game, and they didn't really have it in the second game. Most of what you do, and in this remake as well, is just left punch, right punch, spin kick. Left punch, right punch, spin kick. They didn't make him any more combat proficient in this. So the fact that now he's doing spin moves to get over an open doorway to avoid a camera, or he's hopping off of a missile that there's no way in hell he had the response time or the reflexes to see it coming, jump, put a foot on it, flip in the air, and then shoot a missile back at the hind D. All of that stuff felt very goofy. Did it detract from the end experience? I don't think so. It looks silly and inconsistent, but I don't think it ever actually ruined the game, and certainly not my experience in the gameplay itself. One final ugly, and this is just something that really started dawning on me at the beginning of, or the end of last episode and the beginning of this one, is that there are certain performances, and I'll say this is kind of in the ugly because I don't think this ruined the game. When they did this game, like I said at the very beginning, they re-recorded all the dialogue. They made it so that every single one of the character performances had a new version. None of these were reused assets from the original game. As such, there were certain lines when they performed them in the original game that genuinely had more gravitas or were timed and performed much better. And when you get to them in this game, especially if you've played that first game, they kind of ring a little bit hollow or inferior. And there were spots where it was like, I remember the beat of this one just hitting so hard. And that kind of sucks. Especially the part, and we talked about it in the previous episode, when Snake has just killed Sniper Wolf and he's walking away, and there's this pointed moment when Otacon looks up at him as he's walking away at Snake and goes, "What are you fighting for? What am I fighting for? What am I fighting for? What are any of us fighting for?" And there's just this little pause. And it's done so subtle and just so beautifully in the original game. And he just kind of slowly turns back to Otacon and says, "Well, if we make it through this, I'll tell you." And they got it so right in the first game. And in this one, they just missed. And I think part of it was the camera angle in the original had this beautiful depth of field focus where Snake was in focus and everything else was just kind of out of focus in a really well laid out shot. In this game, they just botched the shit out of it. It did not look good. And that was just kind of a bummer. So there's a reason to play the original and this one if you ever want to experience them, because I do think there are some performances in that game that were better than this one. That said, Snake sounds way more consistent in this one than he did in the first one. The first one, it was clear that David Hayter was still trying to find his voice as Snake. And here, he's already done it through 2 games. He's a worn professional. He knows how to do this voice. It's kind of ingrained in his being now. He can do it without thinking. In the original, it was still very rough. Also, I don't know if taking away all of the characters' accents was the right way to go. I get that they wanted to convey that most of the characters were American, so they should have American accents. Mei Ling, no problem. I get it. Maybe she wasn't actually from China. Maybe it was just her parents. And if she grew up in the U.S., she should not have an accent. Naomi, that's a little bit different. If she was an orphan in Rhodesia, she should probably have an accent. They didn't give her one. Nastasha, they never at any point gave you any impression that she is legitimately from America but happens to have family from Ukraine or wherever it was that she was supposed to be from. That took away her accent. It's very light in this game. There was another one. I'm blanking on it. well, whoever it was, there was another character that had an accent, and they took that one away, and it was just like, you guys went overboard. They don't have to sound American. I get it's taking place in America, but they can still have characters from other parts of the world. That was a choice that I don't know if I fully agreed with. But again, I put it in the ugly because the performance itself was fine. It's just the weird choice that they got rid of the accents. Felt like they went overboard with it. All right, let's go ahead and give the game a score. We do our score on Randars, 1 to 10. I can concede that some of the weird choices they made in Snake's performance in this game, being a little bit too matrixy and doing spin moves, and the bullets being, the camera work being slowed down so you could see bullets, and have him do flips and bounce off walls and all this other crap, did not need to happen. I cannot discount the fact that the music was better, the video was better, and the story was identical. They changed a couple of lines just to be more consistent with the Japanese version of the script. And I don't know if any of them made me go, man, that was just, they did that wrong. I think they were all fine. The gameplay is still a blast. The story still feels mature and not stupid. This is a fantastic game. I don't think it's perfect, but I do think it is an extremely good game, worthy of having people go back to play, especially if they have a GameCube that works and maybe not a PlayStation. As such, I'm going to give this 9 Randars. This is a beautiful game. It's still fantastic. I know that this is not ever going to be anyone's favorite game because graphically it's a little bit rougher than the game that preceded it, that it used the game engine from Metal Gear Solid 2. I think the team with Kojima at Konami there understood the limitations of the PlayStation 2 when they made it. The environments are very sparse. You're in a lot of very bland environments, but that's because they put more of their focus on the character models, on movement, on trying to keep the action consistent and smooth where they could, and where they couldn't, slowing down the camera work so they could hide the deficiencies of the game engine. This game, it's clear that they did not have as good a grasp as Kojima's team did on the game engine, and it hurt it a little bit. I think there were some spots where, especially with the character model like Snake, why was he always walking around with his arms out like he was a goddamn gorilla? He just looks so awkward. And you might think that it's because, he's so big and buff that his arms just kind of bow out because the muscles are so big that he can't bring his arms in. Or you might even think that if he has this tight sneaking suit that he even talks at the very beginning, says, oh, it's a little bit tight. And they were like, oh, it's to help control your blood flow and keep your body warmed up or whatever. But when he takes the shirt off, his arms are still bowed out. So that's clearly an issue with the graphics engine. They just couldn't figure out how to get him to bring those arms in against his body. Again, facial details just look kind of cheap. They didn't look great. And again, we're talking about a game that came out a couple years after Metal Gear Solid 2, and the faces in that game look great. Fantastic. Not so much in this one. A little bit rough. But the music was great. The story was great. The gameplay was fun because it was literally just the same gameplay from Metal Gear Solid 2, which already when the game came out was mind-blowing. All the options you had available to you. It may not seem like that big a deal today, but that's because you're looking 20 years in retrospect. And back then, the games that you could play around that time just did not have the depth of experience that they did when that game came out. Now, we're going to go into that when we actually look at Metal Gear Solid 2 at a future time. But this game used a lot of those same assets, game engine-wise, for interacting with soldiers. Little details. Like I said, I didn't think to do it during the game, but if you were so inclined to try to stop a soldier from communicating with his CO, if he had a radio on his back and you shot it, as long as you hit it, not him, the radio would go out. I don't think they ever caught that. But then as soon as they tried to call for backup and they grabbed the radio, they realized, oh crap, I can't do it. And just a beautiful little touch. And of course, that came from the Metal Gear Solid 2 game. But they put it in this one, and it was fantastic. But this is a good game. I know people had reasons to dislike it because of the changes that were made, especially with the cutscenes. But it's still Metal Gear Solid, and Metal Gear Solid was still a fantastic game when it came out. And all they really did was just gussy up the graphics and make the music better and make the gameplay better than it did before. This is a very good game. This is 9 Randars. Fantastic game. I cannot say that if you have both of them, you should play one or the other. I think there's different reasons to appreciate both of them. If you have both games, play one, do some other stuff, come back to the other one in a year or so and play that, and then tell me or whoever else, oh, this one's garbage, I would never play this. I guarantee if you come back to it after playing the first one, you're not going to go, this was a stupid waste of time. I think they're too similar in their design that you can't just say, this was objectively the worst thing I've ever experienced in my life, and the first one was just magical, heavenly, great gameplay. That's not, you're lying to yourself if you say that. They are basically the same game. That's going to do it for our long play of Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. I do think we're going to look at Metal Gear Solid 2 as a long play. I'd been vacillating on that because, I mean, if you keep playing Metal Gear Solid games, they do tend, at least with the first couple, to feel very similar in the way they play out. But it's such a good game, and it's just such a fun experience going through it. I cannot deny the idea that we should revisit that one in full as well. And especially if we do what I had originally planned, which was I had thought that after we finished our look at the first game, play the second one to get a feel of the experience for, an hour, and then do my normal Nubs Collection episode, and then do a full playthrough of the third game, which absolutely had been my intention from basically starting the channel, to do a full playthrough of the third game. But it just doesn't feel right. If you're going to do one, skip the second playthrough and then do the third one, it doesn't work. We're going to do those first 3. 4 is where I may draw the line, because 4 is not a great game. I did not love Metal Gear Solid 4. I think it was maybe Kojima getting a little bit too out of control. People didn't like Metal Gear Solid 5 and thought maybe this was an example of his habits as an auteur getting out of control, and Konami basically saying, we've had enough, you're out of here. And the game was unfinished ultimately. 4 was where it was sanctioned and allowed to happen because Sony, I think, was helping fund part of that project. And it shows. There is so much cutscene dialogue in that game. This game feels like it's bad. The second and third game go even further, but 4, I feel like it's like 5 hours of gameplay and 15 hours of cutscenes. It's so much. But yeah, I think the first 3 games for certain we're going to do a long play for. We're not going to do the second game right away. We're probably going to do a couple of other long plays that I had been wanting to look at first. Then we'll circle back and get to the second game eventually. And it may be a while because I have to find out if I have, well, I think I could do that because I was going to wait until I could find a way to start playing my PlayStation 2 games consistently, because I don't know if I have working PlayStation 3 anymore. But I can just use the version that came out in either the Master Collection that just came out recently, or I can use the re-release that came out on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I think I have a copy of that, so we'll figure it out. It's going to be a couple long plays before we circle back to that, but for now, we're wrapped up with Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. Again, 9 Randars. I think this is a very, very, very good game. Ignore the people who whine and moan about the cutscenes. They did not ruin the game. They're silly, yes, but trust me, that's not the height of silliness that we're going to find in this series. That's going to do it for my long play of Metal Gear Solid. As always, I do appreciate each of you watching, and I will see you next time.